Is it true that the more standards you have in dating, the harder it is to find somebody?
I don't think it's harder to find someone based on, having certain standards for a relationship. I actually think standards actually help you a lot, right? And with a certain degree, right? Because I do think there are certain things that people want or expect from somebody, and it might not be completely realistic. I'll give you an example, not pointing at any ladies out there, but if you say, hey, I want a man making $500K a year, right? Let's say that, right? And he's got to be in good shape, right? He's got to be.
It's gotta have hair.
Yeah, gotta have hair, right? Like, so you start kind of making your list of things,
family
right?
oriented.
Yeah, like all these. You start to make that big list.
Doesn't drive a Prius.
Yeah, right. Like, if you have this long list, it's like, okay, you have to think about, hey, what are the percentage of actual men that fit this, right? Just do the numbers, just do the math, right? And you just say, okay, if this guy is, the guy you just kind of listed, some of the things he mentioned, I would say probably most women would find that guy attractive. I would say most women would be like, oh, this is a good guy, right? So if you set that standard, then you also have to think, well, why would he want you?
What do you bring to the table?
Like, why would that guy want you? Like, that's the real honest to God truth that you have to have. Yeah. So the idea is, I don't think standards necessarily make it harder for people. Mathematically it can, depending on what those standards are. But I do think if you're clear on like what you're looking for, like, and not having like, oh, this has to be the case, this has to be this and this and this checklist, but more so say like, these are some of the things that are important to me. These are the characteristics or traits that are important to me. I think having an idea of that lets you know where you're better to find that person, right? Or what to look for. I think that actually helps you, it saves you from a lot of heartbreak, a lot of heartache, and just a lot of challenges.
It's like a filter category.
Exactly.
Like, if you know you want a Christian man, you are not going to look, you can find somebody on Tinder. You can find somebody on Hitch, but you're going to make sure that is, you ask the question your North Star, right? That is going to be, if that's something important to you, it should help you narrow down people, and it should get easier in theory, right? Or if you're looking for someone who is into like nature, like outdoor, right? You're not gonna necessarily go for, even though you can give somebody a chance, right? Be open, you're non-negotiable. I think there's a big difference between standards and a list. Standards mean that you have certain things that you are not willing to negotiate on. And and usually they're more value-based. Whether you want kids or not, whether you believe in God, whether you're spiritual, whether certain things in politics you believe, right? And also like how you spend money, how you view money, right? What do you like to spend money on? Do you like to be a saver, an investor? Do you or like to live life on the edge, right? Like it's more value-based. And I believe those standards, they are good markers. They're not bad. They actually help you narrow down your list. A list is all the things you would ideally want in a perfect world. If you were to build the perfect partner, this list includes non-negotiables and negotiables. It's like everything in a perfect, perfect world, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, I think standards, absolutely, they help make it easier for you to find somebody, because when you don't have those standards, everything is a good option. Right? You don't have anything narrowing down your search. You don't have anything guiding you on what's important to find in a partner. That you don't have those rules, those guidelines to help you find a potentially suitable partner. Whereas lists can, if you get so caught up on the lists and like trying to stick as close to that list as possible, I think in one end, I think it becomes too unrealistic, right? I think when you want everything, including your negotiables, right? Like for all the women out there, if you absolutely need your man to be your height and above, like it's not a bad thing per se, but you're just gonna be limiting yourself to other men, short kings out there who may have amazing qualities, like 9 out of 10 of your standards and your non-negotiables. And all because height is a big thing, right? But I think that's the difference between the standards and lists that make or break, your dating chances.
I think it really comes back to what do you value in someone, right? And I think it really comes back to character. I think time and time again, the character is what people are actually looking for, because those are the things that persist over time. Because a person could have, let's say, have money, they could have hair, right? They could have the nice job, right? Like, but that stuff may go, right? I mean, that's just the reality of the situation.
With time, with aging, like
with time, they say time is undefeated, right? So it's like, regardless, like you can try to kind of set your life up and do whatever you want, but you just never know what things are going to throw at you.
Absolutely.
But ultimately, the character of that person are things that are important. Like maybe you want someone who is good with their finances, right? That's a characteristic, someone who's a good steward of their finances. That's okay to say, hey, I would like someone like that, right? You want someone who takes care of themselves, right? Good hygiene, whatever they need to do, whatever it could be. Like, those are things that you look for. Someone who's active, right? Like someone who's active, right? Like these are the things
hygiene is
you're looking for, right? Like there's certain things that I just can't, like some people have bad breath, and like it's hard to tell someone that they have bad breath, and you're like, I just want someone who, if they're talking to me, I'm not like, my eyes aren't watering, right? That's fair, right? And if this person doesn't want to, hygiene's not important to them, that's fine, right? They don't value that clearly, or maybe no one's told them. I don't know.
Maybe they don't know.
But yeah, I mean, it's true, right? So sometimes someone can be a work in progress, but the idea is, I think sometimes people get in the mind, especially nowadays, right? Because the biggest challenge I think people face dating today is the amount of access we have is unprecedented. And then also you go on social media, you see other people like, power couples, and they're living their life and this and that, they're traveling and this and that. And you're like, oh man, like I don't want to settle. I want that life and this and that. But the truth be told, it's really around building. You need to build that life with somebody, right? You need to find someone who's like, you're willing to kind of invest into and say, hey, let's build this together. And I think, that's a big challenge for a lot of people, is they think they're settling if they don't get someone who has the ready-made situation. They can just move in and just everything's good, right? But I know that sounds good on paper, but you have to think like it's so much better when we build something and we work at it and create it ourselves. It's always much more valuable to us versus like having something ready-made and you just pop into it.
Attainable, right?
And I'm not saying you have to go and like find, a project, right? I don't think that's important to, I think some people will sometimes do that to themselves, where they'll try to find a project of someone they can like work on and this and that.
I can save them.
Yeah. And I think that is dangerous, right? Because at the same time, and we talked about this before in another video, but like, you don't know what's best for somebody else, right? Like,
and nor is it your responsibility.
Yeah, it's not your responsibility to try to say, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. You can offer perspective if they ask, or whatever the case may be. But for you to kind of come in and try to say like, oh, well, you should do this and you should do that and you should do this, it's like, they might not want that, right? And that's okay, right? That's the life that they want. And, maybe there's a misalignment there.
It's important to know what you value, because that's your North Star. And I think what's worth mentioning is FOMO, especially this day and age. Like, I have so many of my friends who are like the fear of missing out on a good thing, because I guess in 2026, and you guys will have to enlighten us, because we've been married, we've been together for almost like 4 years, been married for almost 2. And we don't know what it's like to date in 2026. But I know so many single people who are just alone and they're struggling to find somebody in this market, in this economy. And I just feel like, sure, like I think if we were single again, if I were single, that would be very intimidating for sure. But that guideline wouldn't necessarily change. Sure, like it might take longer to find somebody in this in the state of the world we're in, maybe, maybe, but like
I'm not buying that.
But we're just like firm believers that the more you know yourself, the more you know what you want in life, the more this is more you work, like your homework, than it is about like the other person. Because if you do know yourself, if you do know what you want, if you do know what your non-negotiables are versus your negotiables, right? Like I always go back to this, like height, like looks, like they're although they are important, you should be attracted to your partner. 100%. There should be chemistry. But if you're solely like fixing it on like looks or like very surface level things that also if you're trying to build something serious and lifelong commitment with this person, like looks fade. Like you could get in tomorrow's not promised. You could get in an accident. You could lose your legs. Like that 6 foot, 7 foot king might lose his legs the next day, God forbid, right? And he might be confined to a wheelchair. Like, would you still be attracted to that person? Would you? And this is why you made the point of character. Character is so important, and character only comes with time. That's why we always stress, like, take your time dating, take your time getting to know somebody, ask all the right questions. Like, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to approach the dating game with confidence and boldness, even if you are afraid of being alone. Like, I think that you can still have the fear of being alone, but also be confident. Those two things can coexist at the same time. Because after I took my 3-year break from dating and I first started talking to you, starting to date and put myself out there, of course, hell yeah, I was scared. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I felt rusty, right? Like, I didn't know, okay, am I doing the right thing? Like, I'm overanalyzing myself. But at the same time, I knew, like, I truly trusted. And for me, I trusted the process. Like, I trusted that, like, the worst thing that can happen is I enter the dating world and I come back out the same that I was. And, like, maybe a little emotionally jarred for some people, but you still gave it a shot. Like, you put yourself out there. And I don't think people understand. Maybe I'm being a little bit whimsical and optimistic about dating, but I just wholeheartedly believe that the people that will find the partner, they are the ones that don't give into that fear of finding the wrong person, or fear of being rejected, fear of being hurt, right? Fear of it not working out. Because what's the alternative, right? If you put yourself out there and it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And yes, you would have invested all that time, the finances, the resources, your energy, right? Your focus to getting to know this person or dating, or maybe you enter a relationship with them and then it doesn't work out, but you would have gotten wiser. There's so many things you probably learned about yourself. There was probably things you learned about, what you're looking for in a partner. Yeah, you should ideally, if you're not learning, then yes, it is a waste. But that's why I always say, put yourself out there. Like, I always tell all my single girlfriends, like, don't be afraid. Like, don't be jaded. I think too many people who enter the dating market, like, expecting something, and then, they get hurt, right? And they become super, like, guarded. Like, I'm afraid to get hurt. I don't let anyone in. And, like, they become changed by the dating process. And it shouldn't do that to you. If you know who you are, if you know what you're after, and yes, it hurts. Like, it's just the nature of the beast, right? But I'd rather take the risk of putting myself out there and potentially seeing what's possible for me than to be in my home. And there's nothing wrong with being alone, but if you want to find somebody, like, nothing should stop you, right? Not even the economy. Like, if you want to find somebody to share your life with, like, it's out there. It might take some time. It might take a few years. It might take some money from the bank, like, it might take a few wrinkles, but I always feel like it's better to just go after it and not give into that fear of being rejected, not being fear of hurt, because just as it's possible to be hurt, it's also possible that you might find the love of your life. It's also possible that you might find somebody who just brings out the best in you, and it just makes you a better person, makes you just smarter, makes you wiser, makes you like more confident, just brings out the best version, and then a very different version of you. And you won't know until you try, right? So that's just my take.
Yeah. I think I'll just add to that.
Yeah.
The last piece I'll say is just like, we're all a work in progress. Yeah. In a relationship, you both should be invested in trying to be your best selves, right? Like, you should keep each other accountable. And like, I know, like, when we first started dating, I still had some, like, although I felt like from a mental standpoint, I knew I was ready for marriage and moving forward and like all of that, there was still some housekeeping that I needed to do. And like, I know when I was single and even just like, dating casually and whatnot, like, for me, I'll go out, I'll drink, and I'll be like the life of the party. Like, I have like an alter ego. And like, sometimes, like, I'll just be like a little too like out there, too animated, too maybe friendly. And that can come off as the wrong way, right? And sometimes I generally don't mean anything by it. Like, generally I like to see other people having a good time. And what I learned, like, going out when I was younger was like, you can't go out expecting to have a good time. You have to kind of be that good time. And sometimes people can feed off of that around you. It's like I would have that perspective. So when I would go out, I would almost put it on myself to feel like I have to bring the energy. I have to set the tone.
Yeah.
And so like, my wife could see that it was coming from a good spot, but sometimes my actions and things that I would do are not always a good reflection of our relationship, a good reflection of what we're trying to build here. So those are things that she had to communicate to me. And because I loved her, and I still, I love you, like, I'm like, I want to be a better person. And it's like, yeah, I have to look at myself and say, hey, like, there are some things that I need to do better, right? I do need to work on that. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to run away from this, or like, oh, I don't want to be here, or she doesn't appreciate me. She doesn't like, she's not taking me as I am. Like, no,
I wasn't trying to change you.
Yeah, it's like, it's, and, we had a conversation around like just understanding my heart, right? Understanding each other's heart, right? Because at the end of the day, sometimes things that come out from us, like, it could be from trauma, it could be from things that we think, or like limiting beliefs that we may have. And it's like, you want someone who can like see into your heart, see the person you are deep down inside.
And your intention.
Exactly. And be able to kind of see that, have the patience, have the love to really help you draw out your best self. So.
And it took some time.
Yeah.
Definitely, like, it was not easy, like, by any means. Like, I had my own insecurities and my own things that I was going through, but I always knew like that. And the number one thing that was important, again, character, is, for a healthy relationship, you want to make sure you know where that person's coming from, where their heart is coming from. Because I'll be honest, execution, your intentions could be good, but sometimes execution just doesn't fall perfectly as you want to, right? And I think it's really important that we, something that we're learning, even in our marriage to this day, is we have to not be so fixated on the behavior or the sometimes the execution part, and always go back to the heart of the person, the intention. Was their intention good, right? I think in dating, I think execution is important. You should go all out and be able to impress them, and, not to be something you're not, obviously, but like, it's a time for execution. But, in the long-term relationship setting, it's really important we're learning how important it is to assess character, the heart, the intention. And honestly, ever since we really learned that principle and started embodying that principle and putting it to practice, like, marriage has been good, friends. Like, relationship has been so much peace, and so, like, it just saves you so much stress when you really grasp that principle. And so, something that we want to encourage you all, like, I hope our relationship is a testimony. Even if we were to be single in 2026, we would not change our approach. We would not change our optimism for dating. Like, I wouldn't, as many times as I'm rejected, like, I just have to believe that God designed us to, share life, do life with somebody. And I wholeheartedly believe there's a person out there for everybody. If you are discouraged, watch 90 Day Fiance. There is somebody out there for everybody. And it might take some time to get there, but I just encourage everyone, don't let rejection, don't let fear of ending up alone or getting hurt or whatever everyone's saying about the dating market right now. Don't feed into that. Like, don't just, stay in your lane, stay, always work on yourself, work on, like, figuring out what you want in a partner, what you want in life. Maybe you don't even want to date, right? But you won't know until you try. So with that said, stay encouraged, stay blessed. Until next time.
Till the next one.